Chapter 6, Part C, Centroids and Centers of Gravity. Previously, we already covered Part A, Part B, and this is the final part, which is Part C, Distributed Loads on Beams and Center of Gravity of a 3D Body. In this part, we will cover theorems of Pappus-Guldinus, centroid of a volume, and finally we have sample problem. Theorem of Pappus-Guldinus. Surface of a revolution is generated by rotating a plane curve above a fixed axis. In this diagram, we have a curve, a line, and also we have a circle. Will produce a surface of revolution about the x-axis. In this case, we have AC is a x-axis. Curve will produce a sphere. Straight line AB will produce a cone, and finally the circle will produce a torus. In this theorem, which is theorem number 1, related to area of a surface of a revolution is equal to the length of the generating curves times the distance traveled by the centroid through the rotation, which is we have the value of A is equal to perimeter, which is 2 pi times y bar, and then times a total number of length. So in this case, it will produce the area. So for the sphere, surface area of sphere, surface area of cone and torus, it will getting this area by using this formula. There are several diagram produced, which is we can see a conical frustum, we have the cone, we have cylinder, we have several type of spheroid. Okay, it's basically with a curve or straight line, and by rotating at a certain axis, it will produce a shape. Okay, and in this case, we will be getting the surface area by using the formula of Pappus-Guldinus in this theorem number 1. And also the several torus, which is we have ring, thorn, and spindle. For example, we have a straight line, okay, which is the linear line, and if we rotate at the x-axis, it will produce a cone. So, and then from there we can calculate to get the surface area of the cone. So in this case, by using a formula, okay, A is equal to 2 pi y bar times L. So we will get the value of y bar is basically the centroid of cone. In this case, we have the line, okay, the line here, whereby the centroid of the line is basically in the middle. So we have the y value divided by 2. So in this case, is y equal to 2 divided by 2 is 1. So in this case, the y bar is y over 2. And for the L, basically we will get the value of this L, whereby we have this value squared plus this value squared and square root. So we have r squared plus a squared and square root. And finally we simplified and we substitute the value of R and H, and finally we obtain the value of 14.05 mm squared. And also there is a this cone is a common shape, so that we can use the formula, its formula, whereby the formula is something like this, and we uh, substitute the value and we also get the same number or same surface area. So once if we have the very common shape, so that we can implement the formula. So if not, we will use the uh, surface revolution, which is the using the theorem number 1 of Pappas-Galinas. And also we have a theorem of Pappas-Galinas number 2, which is the body of revolution, which is will produce the volume. So in this case, it will generated from the surface uh, area, which is the semicircle, and then we have the triangle and also the circle, which is the, if we generate to the x axis, so it will produce a volume, where it will produce a sphere, it will produce a cone, and it will produce a torus. So in this theorem, we will use this formula, so that the total volume of a body of a revolution is equal to the generating area times the distance traveled by the centroid through the rotation. So that the centroid is y bar. In this case, we don't have any x bar, so that because of the shape is the shape is basically referent at x axis. So the y, basically the x value is we assume at 0. If this shape is located at the coordinate system, so we will need to take into account of the x bar here. So in this case, we have v equal to pi y bar, the summation times the summation of a. So in this case, the equation is a little bit the same, but if we have a substitute by v and also the l substitute by a. Okay, this is the example of the solid of rotation. We have the triangle, it will produce cone, and then we have the rectangle, will produce a cylinder, and we have a trapezoid, we will produce a frustum, and finally we have a sphere, okay, from the circle. And this is the summary of theorem 1 and theorem 2, whereby it's a little bit the same, but we only change the a to v and l to a. And please we look at the problem. Okay, so in this problem related to the pulley, so the dimension of pulley outside diameter of a pulley is 0.8 meter, and the cross sectional of the rim as shown in this figure, so that from there we can get the value of mass and weight. Okay, asking for the mass and weight, and given of the density of the steel, given 7.85 times 10 to power 3 kilogram per meter cube. So in this case, we have the dimension of the pulley in cross-sectional area. We have 100 mm, and then we have 50 mm, and then we have 20, 20, and we have 30. So in this diagram is basically refer to the x-axis of this line, so whereby this line to the x-axis is 400 mm. Okay, in this case, basically we will solve this problem by using these two shape. Basically, we have a bigger triangle, a bigger rectangular, and we will get the area, and then we subtract the small rectangular to get the blue solid line here. So in this case, we have a bigger triangular shape number 1 with the dimension, and we subtract the smaller triangle. And in this case, by getting the volume, basically we will need to use a table because it's very convenient and very easy and quite structure in solving a problem. So for the shape number 1, we have the area is 5,000, which is derived from the 50 mm multiplied by 100. And also we have the shape number 2, which is 60 multiplied by 30. We have 1,800. And please remember, in this case, we have the subtraction, so we need to put the negative here. So for the y bar is basically the centroid of this rectangular is basically when we refer to the x-axis here is 375. So we put here. And also the rectangular for C2 we have 365 and we put here. And for the distance travel at C, basically we have the perimeter, so we multiply by 2 pi and we get the value. And then for the volume, so we will obtain this volume. And finally, by using the formula, okay, we will get the total volume, which we have 7.65 multiplied by 10 power by 6. Okay, in order to get the mass, so we apply the formula and we substitute the value, and we will get the mass is 60 kilogram. But please remember that the dimension given is in mm, so that we need to substitute to SI unit, so that we get the value of 60 kilogram. So in order to get the weight, so we multiply the acceleration of gravity, so we get the value of 589 Newton. So for the problem number 2, okay, but basically for in this diagram, asking for the A, we have locate the centroid of the plane area shown, and then also we have B, determine the value and the surface area of the solid obtained by rotating the area is about at x-axis. So in this case of the A, we already covered in previous part, so that for the location of centroid is basically determined by using two methods. The first one, by using a bigger rectangular minus triangle, or you can do a small rectangular plus triangle here. So in this case, we will get the value of x bar and y bar. For the x bar, we have 42.23 mm. For the x bar, we have 24.23. So in this case, we have area number 1 and area number 2 by getting the value of A, x bar, y bar, x bar A and y bar A, and finally we get the x bar and y bar. So this is the fundamental of getting centroid from the previous part. So in this part, we mainly focus on the part B, so the volume and the surface area of the solid rotating about x-axis basically. So in order to get the volume, okay, we will generate the surface area at x-axis, so that it will produce the shape is something like this. We have a kind of a cylinder, and then we have the cone, whereby the cone is a hollow, so that in order to get the volume, basically we will just produce to get the applying the formula, and we put the value of y bar, the value got from the previous slide, and also the A value. So finally we have the volume is 4.01 times 10 to power 5 mm cube. So you can also solve this problem by using the whole solid cylinder from here. So for the surface area, okay, so yeah, you can also for the volume, basically the second method, you can get the volume by getting the whole cylinder, okay, and then you subtract, make a subtraction of the volume of cone. So this is the another way to get the volume. Okay, in this case for the surface area, basically we have three area covered. One is from the surface of the cylinder, okay, whereby the value of the, we call it area 1, is can get from the formula, which is from the common formula, which is 2 pi rl. So we substitute the value and we get the value of 6480 pi mm squared. And then the second one is from the uh, circle, is basically from the circle produced at this, okay, this area. And then the circle, of course, we know the area is pi r squared, and we substitute and get the value of area 2. And finally we obtain the surface area of the cone. So by using the common formula, we substitute the value of r and h, and we obtain the value. For the total surface area, we will sum of area 1, area 2, and finally we will get the value of make a summation of area 1, area 2, and area 3, and finally we get the value of total area is 3.41 times 10 to the power 4 mm cube squared. And there are several questions so that you can spend your time to solve this problem. Okay, hopefully you can understand how to calculate this one by using the theorem of Pappus-Calenus. And previously we learned how to get the value of centroid with the different shape, or common shape, and we have function or non-common shape. So for the common shape, we use its formula, and for the non-common, maybe we can use several techniques, okay, by using and by integration. So in this case, the application of centroid basically can be done at the problem or application in the distributed load on beams. So as you can see from the diagram shown, there is a distributed load from the arrow of dW. So in this case, there is a non-homogeneous load given at the beam along the 0B line. So actually the distributed load is everywhere along this line. So from the O and B, so with the different value of dW actually. So and then from there we will need to apply by using the centroid to get the concentrated load, whereby the concentrated load is located at the certain x value, okay, certain location, which is in this case we have the location as x. For the W, that it doesn't matter which the place here, basically the W is 0. For the X, okay, is somewhere around here, whereby the value is X bar. So in this case, for the distributed load given here, so many arrow line here downward, so we will produce a concentrated load whereby it will indicate only one value of W, at a certain X bar location, so that we will use the centroid, okay, whereby the surface area uh, below the curve, it will represent the concentrated load. Okay, basically we will have the distributed load is represented by the plotting load per unit length, and the total load is equal to the area under the load curve. Okay, so the total load here is basically the value we can get from the area, okay, under the curve, which is the value here. Okay, and then for the distributed load can be replaced by the concentrated load with a magnitude equal to the area under the load curve. Okay, basically we will use the centroid formula to get the concentrated load, okay, which is under the surface under the curve. Okay, let's see the problem number 3, which is we have the distributed load along the beam A to B, which is supported by the roller and pin, whereby the WA the value is 1500 at the smallest area here, and the biggest number is 4500 at this area. Okay, so that the question asking for the equivalent concentrated load and the reaction of at the support. So the reaction of the support basically we already learn in the chapter 5. So we will this one is basically very easy to get the reaction, but basically by applying the centroid we can get the concentrated load, okay, given the distributed load with this number. So in this case we will first try to get the concentrated load by using the this diagram, whereby we can get the surface area under this shape, okay, can be used whether to get from the common shape. In this case we use the common shape of a triangle, whereby we divide into two triangle. The first one is something like this, and second is something like this. You can also divide by rectangular and the triangle, two shape. One is from the rectangular, and also the second one is from the triangle. So in this case we will use two triangle. Okay, so we will get the surface area in this triangle, we total up, and then we get the value of the total centroid of x value, x bar in the surface area. So by using the table, so we will get to the value of a triangle area, triangle 1 and triangle 2. Basically to get the value of triangle number 1, the area, okay, by we have 4.5, whereby the number 4.5 is getting from the 6 meter multiplied by 1.5 kN per meter and divide by 2. So we will get 4.5. For the triangle number 2, we have 6 meter multiplied by 4.5 and then divide by 2, and we will get 13.5. And for the X bar, is basically by using the common shape of triangle, whereby we have C divided by 3 is equal to, and also in this case we have C divide by 3 equal to, but this location is from here to here too, and then the rest is from here to here is 4. Okay, so we have 4 here. So and multiply, we get this value, and we total up, we get this number. And basically the area of is the whole area is basically we have 18, but in this application the total area is supposed to be the number of the concentrated load. So the concentrated load W is also 18. So in this case, to get the X bar, we use the value of 63 divided by 18. So we get X bar is 3.5 meter. So once we have the concentrated load of 18 and we have the position of X bar is 3.5, so we can rearrange to redraw the new diagram of something like this. Okay, so basically the X bar is located at 3.5 meter from the point A. Okay, so and then we proceed to get the reaction at A and B. So and then the first thing we need to do is to make a free body diagram. So and then we apply the moment and net force, and finally we get the value of By and we get the value of Ay. Okay, and also you can proceed by getting the Ay by using a net force at y-axis equal to 0 also. And for the Bx, basically the value is 0. Okay, so there is no force acting on Bx. For the problem number 4, it's actually the same thing. So you need to get the area, surface area of this distributed load. Okay, we have the highest value is 1600 and the lowest value is 400. So in this case, you can divide by 2 by using a rectangular and a triangle, or by using the same as the previous slide, you can divide by 2 triangle here. So in this case, by using 2 triangle, and we will get the R1 and R2. So the R1 we will get from the value of 6 meter multiplied by 400 and divide by 2. And for the R2 we have the 4800 is also the same thing. And also we will get the value of x bar 1 and x bar 2. In case of x bar 1 we have 2, in case of x bar 2 we have 4. And we will proceed to get the value of x bar, the total centroid of x bar for the surface R1 and R2. So the total for the x bar we have 3.6 meters. For the magnitude of R, the total is we have 6,000. So in this case, we will draw the diagram. Can be something like this, and then we proceed to get the AX and AY. Okay, so in this case, we will get the value of AY is equal to 6,000, and for the AX, the value is 0. So we proceed to the problem number 5. So in this case, a little bit different, the shape of the parabolic. So and then we in order to get the surface area, we need to maybe divide by 2. One is rectangular and the one is parabolic. So we by using the formula, the common shape, and then we will get the surface area. So in this case, we will divide into 2, R1 and R2. So and then we proceed to get the surface area of R1, and then we get the surface area of R2. So and then we sum all together. Okay, we will get the 7,600, and then we also need to get the value of x bar 1 and x bar 2. So in this case, you need to use for x bar 2, you need to use a formula. For x bar 1 is very easy, just divide by 2. Okay, 6 divided by 2 equal to 3. So and then for the x bar and y bar, x bar, so it doesn't matter with the y bar. So in only x bar, we will get the value of x bar 2.566, and also with the location and magnitude we will have, and then we will redraw, and finally we get the shape is something like this. So if you not really familiar with the solving problem, it's better for you to draw a table first, get the value of x bar, and then we proceed to get the reaction force, and we get the value of By, and also we get the value of Ay. So the value of Ax is equal to 0. So and then there are two problems with the different distributed load. Please try uh, to solve this problem. And then finally, we have the center of gravity of a 2D body, which is related to centroid of a volume. In this case, we have discussed on the non-homogeneous shape, which is the shape is something like this. So basically, we have the distributed load all over the place, and we will need to get the concentrated load. Okay, basically to get the center of gravity, we will use this formula basically. Okay, in this case, this weight is basically can be represent as a volume is something like this. Okay, by substitute the value of V and W. So later on, we will use the centroid of a volume by using this formula. Okay, this is the common shape of a 3D, a common of a 3D shape. Okay, we have hemisphere, semi-ellipsoid of revolution, and paraboloid of revolution. But please remember that this 3D shape is basically we assume that is located at the x-axis. So we will have the x bar value, but the y bar value is basically 0, and also the z axis is also 0. So that's why you see the x bar. So by using the common, if you encountered the shape in 3D, and then you can use this common shape and apply this fit formula. So we have a problem C. So let's determine the location of centroid of the composite. Basically, we will say it is a composite shape because of the combination of several shapes. So once you have the shape, and then it's better you separate or divide into several shapes that you can use its formula, its common formula. In this case, we have the cylinder, and then we have cone. And we have a cylinder as a shape number 1, and cone is shape number 2. So by getting the volume of cylinder, basically it's very easy. Just apply the formula and also the cone. Okay. And for the x bar is basically we also need to use a formula, but please remember that the x bar is located on the coordinate x axis, so you need to take into account the x axis. So in this case of cylinder 1, so the cylinder is the length is here is 2. For the x bar, basically in the middle, we divide by 2. So 2 by 2 is equal to 1. Okay, in order to the cone, so you need to use a formula here, h over 4. So it's somewhere around here, and then you need to take into account the 2 value. So you need 2 plus the length here. So finally we have 4. And then we apply to x bar v, and finally we get the value of total. And then finally, in order to get the x bar, we will have the 114 pi divided by 42 pi, and we have 2.71 mm. Okay, and then final of the composite body maybe something like this. We have several shapes involved. The first one is rectangular. Shape number one, shape number two, we have the quarter circle, and then shape number three and four, we have the cylinder. So in this case, by getting the centroid of this area, this volume, basically we have shape number one plus shape number two, and then we divide by two cylinder, we minus of the two cylinder, number three and number four. And of course, we will use the this formula to get the x bar, y bar, and z bar. In this case, we will involve with the z bar. Okay, for the problem 7, we have the locate the center of gravity of the steel machine element. So we will divide by using the several shape. We will proceed shape number 1 until shape number 4. So in this case, we have shape number 1. Okay, and then this is the shape in the details of the shape. So we will proceed to use a table to evaluate the shape number 1. So for the volume of the shape number 1, we have 90 mm multiplied by 40, and also the thickness of the rectangular shape basically here. So the thickness is 10 mm. So we multiply by 10 and we'll get this value. And for the x bar value, basically the x bar is located, x axis is located here, but the rectangular is located here. Okay, in order to get the x bar value, is the thickness here is divided by 2. Okay, we have the thickness is 10 divided by 2 is we get number 5. For the y bar, if you can see, the y bar is start from here 0 and up to here is positive, down here is negative, so that the rectangular is basically the in the middle, maybe here. So the value is negative here. So we know that the height of this is 40 divided by 2, we have 20, but 20 is in the negative side of y, so we have negative 20. And also we have z bar. Z bar is from here to here is positive, and of course z bar is positive for this rectangular. In order to get the z bar is basically 90 divided by 2, we have 45. And also we get the value x bar v, y bar v, and z bar v. And follow by the 2, which is you need to have use a formula to get the volume. And also x bar and y bar can be obtained by using its formula. Okay, please revert to the formula. And for the negative y bar is basically the shape is basically below the y bar in negative side. Okay, so this is negative. For the z bar is 5, is basically the thickness of this is basically 10, so divide by 2 is 5 in the location of z bar, z axis, and apply x bar v, y bar v, and z bar v. Then two cylinder here, but please remember that we need to subtract the two cylinder and apply the formula, and we will get the value. And finally make a summation of all those information, the value of x bar, y bar, and z bar. Okay, so the main point is we need to use a table, and then the maybe quite tricky is getting the value of x bar, y bar, and z bar. So you need to determine the the value based on the coordinate system. Okay, and then the location, whether positive or negative. So maybe you can spend your time, try to get the answer, okay, at the different shape here. So thank you very much. Bye bye.